Welcome to Binge Theory, the coolest corner on the internet. I'm a humble host, Julian, and with me today we have a trio. We have Logan.
Hello.
And we have Ramon.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about the new Disney Plus series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, starring Ewan McGregor, and it also has Rupert Friend, which I was not aware he was one of the Inquisitors. Rupert Friend was never that big of a fan of his. Because I remember he came in to be the second assassin in that movie that Timothy Oliphant was the first one with the shaved head based off the video game. Hitman. Yeah.
Hitman. Okay.
Yeah, based off the video game Hitman. He was the second one.
Okay.
I think he was also in a series. He always shows up like after the fact. Just trying to get in there. They're trying to make him famous. I don't think he's going to make it. And of course, the resurgence of Hayden Christensen.
Yes.
And it's been a rough few years for Hayden, and you can see it. He does not look good in this. I think he's seen better days.
Well, I mean, since that
he
last,
got burned
last
in
fight,
sulfur, and
yeah, he's spent a lot of time in the back to tanks, and
and he lost
as much as he looks, he looks good for everything he's been through.
Yeah,
he lost everything. He
did.
lost his arms, his legs,
an arm and two legs. Everything got burnt. Like there's only so much Bacta can do, as we're seeing, but he looks good for how far he's come.
Yes, that is true, and he has the respirator on for pollen,
and he has his voice.
Let's talk about the voice. They brought back, brought back, but James
out of retirement, semi-retirement at least.
Yeah. And I saw that. Well, here's the thing: I literally just saw episode 3, like an hour before this show, and I have thoughts. I mean, but first of all, let's just go across the list and say how we feel about this season so far. Logan, what are your thoughts so far?
So far, I am wildly impressed. I think that it could very easily just have been an actual theatrical movie that they just cut into parts. It's that good. The actors are on par with that level. The sound design, the staging, the writing, the directing, everything is a bomber theatrical movie as far as I've seen so far, more so than any of the other series we've gotten, certainly more than Boba Fett, certainly more than this. I mean, Mandalorian is good for kind of standalone stuff, and that series I think showcases the strength of multiple directors telling some self-contained but loosely connected stories. But Deborah Chow's handling of this and her solely being the director for the whole series, like, man, that cohesiveness is just, it's something that had been missing from the Star Wars series that we've gotten so far. Just fantastic. They didn't change really Darth Vader one bit, but I gotta say, this is the first time I've been scared of him watching him on screen. Like, they managed to instill a fear in a character from, appearance-wise, even from the 70s. And I just, it's astonishing what they've done so far. I'm wildly impressed and can't wait for the rest of it.
Agreed. Ramon, what are your thoughts?
100% agreed. I mean, so I usually when I came into this, usually when it first started, I was like looking for contradictions, that's me. I mean, that's me. Okay, so you're gonna do this. Okay, my radar is gonna be turned on. looking for contradictions. Haven't found any so far. The what do you call this? Um, like uh, like in New Hope when Darth Vader says, last time we saw each other, you were the master, and I was the apprentice. Now I'm the master.
Mhm.
So I was going like, well, the fact that are we allowed to do spoilers?
Yeah. I'm sure any diehard fan probably saw this the day of, and we're a day later. So 24-hour spoiler and a full effect. Yeah. Yes, and you're not wrong. There's many more inconsistencies with episode 4 based on what we saw just in this episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that being said, though, I like the way it was done. I like the fact that they're showing Obi-Wan as a broken a broken man.
Mhm.
Just
Um,
kind of let his skills just diminish. Almost
yeah,
diminish.
let his skills diminish and all that stuff. So it's yeah. So it's the fact that also that's I was a little worried that it's going to be. So is it going to be like Boba Fett where it's all Tatooine, and stuff like that? But they were able, he was able to go off worlds. So I'm saying that okay, there may still be adventures. Maybe he'll find himself again.
Oh,
Um, and but yeah, and I totally agree about Darth Vader. That was a scary scene.
It was
Him
very, very scary scene.
dragging, using the force to drag someone across the that's like ooh.
yeah. He was literally just snapping necks and choking people out to draw out Obi-Wan,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
that's kind of a jerk move. Um,
When you kill the younglings to start, it
Yeah.
like it's not really
there's-
anywhere to go but down.
yeah, you're not going against Brand on that. I will say this, and to your point about, and obviously in episode 4, the infamous quote from Darth Vader, last time I saw you, I was the student, but now I'm the master,
Mhm.
paraphrasing. And the other thing is that, uh, and there's a meme going on already about this, where it has Princess Leia recording her message to R2D2 in episode 4,
Mhm.
and she says, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you fought with my father in the in the Rebel Wars. Also, you came to my house and saved me, and I was kidnapped, and you saved me. We went on an adventure. You fixed my droid. All of that, all of those extra things that happened that might have given her a little more insight to who he was. And the same thing with Obi-Wan not ever seeming having to remember owning a droid, knowing darn well who R2D2 was. There's a lot of you got to suspend disbelief, I guess.
Plus the fact she constantly calls him Ben, and all of a sudden, all grown up, and when she records the message,
Oh yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi,
yes, yeah.
She
Normally,
called them both
Obi-Wan.
though.
Hmm?
I thought she called them both in the series.
No, she never called. Well, she called. Yeah, I mean, in the series, yeah, but she called him Ben more than Obi-Wan.
Yeah, she did call him Ben more than Obi-Wan.
what about the scene where they're on their transport and they're trying to lie because they're surrounded by stormtroopers, and he's like, that's enough, Leia, and
Oh,
everybody just pauses like, I thought
What'd
you
you
said
say?
her. Yeah, what'd you say her name was?
I thought that was remarkably smooth.
mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he's out of his depth and he's going to be a worse liar and worse covert operative than she is. That was never in doubt. And the fact that his first thought is just to try and spin the story, and he pauses and spins it so well, he doesn't even need a Jedi mind trick, which I don't think he could have done even at that time, even if he wanted to. So that's a whole different thing. But I like the humanness, I guess, of that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also, Logan, to that point,
Mhm.
when he said, "When I look at her, I see her mother."
Wasn't a lie.
It wasn't a lie. Yep.
And the best
Exactly.
way to tell a lie is to not say a lie.
Exactly. And that was, and it was tender because she
Yeah.
looked at him and said, that was a lie. You know, did you know my mother? You know,
That was the first truth thing you said to me.
And you know, first of all, I got to give props to Flea for being a space thug.
Oh, Flea was perfect.
He was. Now, unfortunately, the Inquisitors got him, or did they? I don't think we actually saw. Did we actually see him get? He's gone. Yeah, they're not.
I don't think we saw him killed. I think we just saw him in a haze of dust or whatever that they kind of left him in on the floor, right?
I heard a yell.
Well,
and a whole bunch of lightsaber noises.
So. Well, I'm sure that third sister didn't leave them around, but talk about another powerhouse on the screen.
Who?
Moses Ingram is incredible.
I'm glad you brought that up because
she is outstanding. She holds her own on with anybody else in the scene. She portrays the fear through it. You know, commands. What commands the respect in wherever scene she's in world, and when she doesn't, she takes it anyway, and it's just she's impressive.
I have thoughts on her, but it may be because I don't know where the story's going. And here's the thing. First of all, I want to address the Boba Fett. I mean the Jabba in the room, where it's basically the internet is being internet. And I found this interesting. And tell me if I'm missing something here. Star Wars is not the cool kids table. It's not where all the popular kids would go and hang out and watch Star Wars and talk Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. And so this is kind of a respite for not the outcast, but the misfit toys, if you will, for lack of it's a place where people can come together based on their appreciation of a story, a narrative, and enjoy that together. Because they weren't accepted not because, but usually it goes hand in hand with not being accepted in the general coolness of certain things, blah, blah, blah. Just go down this. So I find it ironic, besides missing the point of what Star Wars is about. I mean, it's literally about space. It's about space Nazis, and they're detesting anything that is not, human. And, but you still find, even in this, unique subgroup of people, the ability to hate another subgroup of people. It's like a racist inception. It cracks me up how you get where I'm going.
I do.
So that being said, internet, just like they did with the Tran in the final 3 Star Wars episodes, had a lot of things to say about somebody of color, being in a specific role. Apparently, one that they're not allowed to be in. I mean, I remember Boyega when he came out as a stormtrooper. That set the internet on fire. So, internet, we know what you are. You don't even try and cover it up. It is what it is, but we're gonna have fun either way. We don't. Because Dave Chappelle, it's probably a bad person to quote at this time, but he did say one thing. A broken clock is right twice in the same day. So he said one thing that I can appreciate. He said, "I don't care what the internet says because the internet's not a place." So there you go. And that being said, Moses Ingram, I was not in love with her character the first couple of episodes because for 2 reasons. And this, it has nothing to do, I think, with her ability or her presence. I think it has to do with my mind has been conditioned to have a certain cadence when it comes to anybody in the Imperial Army. Obviously, mostly a European voice or British voice. That's kind of been like the default language. Unless you're a stormtrooper, then it's New Zealand. But so, and also, in my mind, when I'm thinking of these Inquisitors, I'm thinking like Hellraiser. A totally detached killer. No emotions, no anger. Now, don't get me wrong. Kylo Ren, Darth Vader, they threw tantrums a lot. Yeah. So it's not a dispassionate rage, but she seemed a little more emotional and a little more, well, obviously the American accent kind of threw me, but she did not seem like a stone cold executioner. She seemed like somebody who was more angry than dangerous. Now, the only reason I'm saying that I'm curious to see where this goes is because I think she has conflict in either, and I don't know the source material, so if there's already a story, please forgive me, but...
Oh, there are lots.
Well,
the Inquisitors are... The fact that they're now officially... I think now that they're officially canon on screen is a whole thing. Like, just the fact of seeing that that's what they were doing was all exciting for me. And then to kind of see them, it's... I don't know, I guess, at least the way I think of them in the little bit that I've read and what I've seen on screen is what I wished the Knights of Ren were. You know, they're not the formal Imperial military in any way. They're the, you know, the dark side of the Force, the angry, the passionate, the fearful, you know, but skilled killer kind of a thing that's lashing out. Like, they are, you know, a group of essentially Jedi hunters, the opposite of the Jedi. So where the Jedi are emotionless and passionless, you know, they have it. Where they're, you know, usually without fear, they're fearful and react out of that fear. You know, so they're not the military by any sense, and usually, I believe, under, you know, direct orders from Vader himself, they're not your typical Imperial military chain either. So they've got some autonomy in that way, even though the resources are essentially coming from the same place.
And I see that. I agree 100%. And I saw, like, obviously the rift and the jockeying for position and the jealousy and the backbiting, all that. I got that. But it just seemed like, and again, I'm not saying this as a fault to her, because I want to see where this character goes. Yeah. Now, in the source material, is her character Riva? Is that a character, or is she just one of the Inquisitors? Because I guess I'm asking.
I know the other title designations: third sister, fifth brother. I believe there's 12 of them.
Okay.
Something like that. And I believe she does feature more in, I think it was Star Wars Rebels, the animated series that came after Clone Wars.
Okay.
I know they dealt with some of the Inquisitors and stuff as well. Because I think Ahsoka had dealings with them.
Yeah, I think Ahsoka had a fight scene with the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
right.
And that's certainly one of the things that, you know, internet grumblings again too, is that how can the Grand Inquisitor be dead? Because theoretically the Grand Inquisitor hasn't, you know, had that fight with Ahsoka yet, kind of a thing. So there's rumors as to how that all works or will work out, but yeah.
Ramon and I were talking about Timothy Oliphant's character from Mandalorian as well. Well, I guess it was in Boba Fett, Mandalorian 2.0. 2.5 or whatever.
2.5, yes.
Yeah, well, Cobb Vance, I think his name was. Yeah.
Yeah, I was basically telling Julian that the Disney is where all the animated bad guys go to die in the non-animated versions.
Well, they can only die in live action. Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. So all that being said, I'm optimistic. I think, again, the American accent throws me, and I want to see what she does, because up until now I've seen her doing some parkour, and getting in, verbal, heated, with the other Inquisitors
and her relentless tactics.
Yes, exactly. And I just wish she was more cold and, just, and again, it's probably Hollywood has, put a certain type of a presence in my mind when it comes to, I'm thinking of no Country for Old Men with
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem. Yeah, the sugar.
Mhm.
Still charismatic, but just dark. And I don't get that from her. And
No,
yeah.
no. And I think if you did, that would take away from Vader in some ways. I think he is the oppressive, overwhelming, dark, brooding force. And even the other two Inquisitors that we see, three Inquisitors that we see, they're all kind of different in their own way. I think Sun Kang's Inquisitor is vastly underutilized. I would love, knowing what he can do. There's so much more that he should be able to do.
Exactly.
The Grand Inquisitor was good to start with, in the way it kind of opened the series and the chasing the one Jedi down in the beginning, but I don't know, felt a little too like something was lost there, because how could you not, what your own people should be able to do or be capable of. Like, you shouldn't be caught off guard like that.
Exactly. No,
but yeah.
Now, what did you think about Kumail Nanjiani's role?
I never know what to expect from him when I see him on screen, because you go from this to what he did, Harold and Kumar's, right? No. Who was? Oh no. What did he do? He did some comedy. There was some comedy.
Well,
thing
he did the one where he was married. And it was his real wife. His real wife. They wrote a.
What was it?
I want to call it the Big Easy, or something like that.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
You know what? Don't worry. Internet will save us.
Internet will save us.
Yeah, he did the Big
comedy
Sick.
that he did. Yeah. Oh, the Big Sick.
Yes.
Big Sick.
Not the Big Easy. That's Louisiana.
Yep. And Stuber.
Stuber. Yes.
That was entertaining. And then you've got Eternals as well. So it's like I never know what to expect from him when I see him on screen.
You know what? I will say that I expect him always to have a comic vein in anything he does, and he even acknowledged this. Somebody during an interview when he was doing the Eternals and he got super jacked, they said, "So do you see yourself becoming an action hero now?" And he says, "Have you heard me speak?" Yes, he just doesn't have his voice is just a different. It's a unique voice.
Yes,
you say that. But yeah, but I definitely bought the scam Jedi.
Yeah, totally. He's a great actor. He sells it.
He was basically what's his name? Chris Angel of the Jedis.
Yeah, Chris Angel of the Jedi.
Mind freak, Jedi freak. Yes, that's
yes.
And I didn't know that until I was looking at the credits here. That Sun Kang was the fifth brother. Because obviously he had nothing but makeup on, so I didn't recognize that was him. Yeah, and of course I thought that Jason Statham killed him in Tokyo Drift. So.
Yes, but then he's back too, so it's all sorts of confusing, and who knows where that goes. And it wasn't Harold and Kumar; it was Gabe and Max Need Help. That was the one comedy that I saw him in back in like 2014, 2015. I knew it was a two-person name. I just didn't know which two-person name apparently. But anyway, yeah, he's great. He was good. I like it.
He was good. Okay, now and also in some of this, I don't know this, and I really feel bad because I've not watched any of the animated series that were out. But Indira Varma that played Tia. I think I remember hearing something about Obi-Wan having a romantic relationship or close to one. Was that her, or is that?
There was talk originally, I think, about making her a potential love interest, but that was something that they ended up deciding not to do. The biggest one that I remember for Obi-Wan, and I'm blanking on her name right now, was it Sabina Wren? Maybe I think she was Mandalorian. The one of the ones. Anyway, so he's had a couple of brief, almost romantic encounters. I don't know if she was the one from it, or if I'm a little foggy back there.
I hear you. And Ramon, what do you think of this cast? And does anybody stand out at you that you were surprised to see or that you liked?
Well, I was surprised this when you said that what's the
Sung Kang?
yeah, the what do you call this? The one of the Inquisitors.
His name is
Tokyo Drift. I was going like, that was him.
Yeah, that's him.
I was like,
he's wearing like a big metal hat, and he's painted his face. It's like a Star Wars interpretation of what do you call it, kabuki, which again they're stealing from Asian culture all over the place. I mean, it's
when it's worked from day one, why stop now?
Oh, trust me. And we were just talking earlier. I saw Shogun Assassin, and they literally had a scene from Mandalorian. Here, Baby Yoda, choose this mesh or choose this lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Such a ripoff. But and also, now I will say this: what about Little Princess Leia?
She is outstanding.
Yes, her name is Vivian Lara Blair.
Yep.
And
I saw her first in We Can Be Heroes. So that was one of the Robert Rodriguez superhero kind of kids-themed movies, basically.
Really?
She plays as the daughter of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh, that's the one where they fought the tentacle alien.
They fought all the tentacle aliens that, what's his name's...
Salma Hayek?
No.
Not Salma Hayek.
What's her name? I'll get it in a second because the internet's here to help me. Priyanka Chopra Jonas.
I didn't even... Now I'm putting a face together.
Yeah, but I saw her in that, and she was fabulous there. And I was like, I know her from somewhere. But her presence on screen there, and seeing just the difference between, I guess that was early 2020s ish. So now 2-3 years older, and like the sass and the wiseness she's able to pull off, but like also still a kid. Like, she was a fantastic choice. Once I realized who she was, and then could kind of see it and make those connections, like it was like, oh yeah, she works for me. She's great.
Now, yeah, because I'm looking here, she's only 9 years old.
Yeah.
So
I want to say she was 6 or 7 in that one.
Yeah.
And she chewed some scenery then.
She's a good character.
Yeah.
She reminds me of the little girl from Waterworld, which was a horrible movie.
Whoa, Waterworld.
Oh yeah,
that's a Kevin Costner movie I haven't thought of in a while.
It's basically Road Warrior, but with no roads. It's Road Warrior on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Dennis Hopper. I'm just going to start spiraling into other movies. But yeah, no, great actress. I see in some future episodes, and I don't know, they have not announced who he's going to play, but O'Shea Jackson Jr. is in this series.
Oh, really?
And for those that don't know, that is Ice Cube's son.
Well, did you catch Ewan McGregor's daughter?
Yes.
In the episode? Yeah.
That
was really cool. I was like, the punk spice dealer. Yes. Exactly. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Is it the one that offered him the red dust stuff?
Yep.
That's the spice.
That's Dad.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
They have spice.
Yeah, she offered her dad drugs.
She offered her dad drugs. That was her role. It was great.
And also one of the Safdie brothers, Benny Safdie, is going to be in this.
Oh.
Have either of you guys?
Zach Braff was in the last one too.
Who?
Zach Braff. Oh, Garden State. Scrubs.
Yes. What was he?
He was Frick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? For some reason, when I first heard his voice, I knew he was somebody. I thought it was Seth Rogen at first because
no, it's Zach Braff. But that's what I'm saying. This series is chock full of people who could show up very easily in a feature-length film like this.
Well, people will do
Like-
it for free, because they just want to be in.
Yeah,
I
but-
remember Simon Pegg was in like it, and Daniel Craig. They don't want to be seen. They just want to say, "I was in a Star Wars."
They just want to be there. Yeah.
I'm still waiting on Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yes.
expect him to show up too.
Yeah. When you say Liam Neeson, that threw me off. Yes, Qui-Gon. Yeah.
Qui-Gon has to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to show up. I mean,
Yeah.
Yoda's supposed to train what he calls Obi-Wan on how to communicate with Qui-Gon.
I don't think Yoda did a very good job.
Yeah, well, it could be also his brokenness. That's the thing. 'Cause
Right.
I think
Right.
He's distracted, especially when he found out that Anakin's alive. He can't,
Oh, that sheer terror that played across his face, like
Yeah,
Ewan
yeah, that
McGregor
was-
is incredible.
Well, remember when he was about to go into the tunnel and he
Yes,
literally
he knew it.
and
Every
you know what?
fiber of his being. Yeah.
Here's the funny thing, and have both of you guys seen Spider-Man: No Way Home yet?
I've seen it.
No,
It's not on. Is it streaming yet? I forget.
I don't know.
Oh well,
we actually. So I saw it in the theaters, and
Mhm.
I literally rented it so that my brother-in-law can watch it. So we watched it again.
I'm sure I've been spoiled by everything, so please continue.
well, there's one scene, and this is it's you've seen it. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it.
I'm sure I've seen it.
Because it's a meme at this point,
Yeah.
where Peter Parker is like in an apartment surrounded by all these villains,
Mhm.
but they're supposedly trying to go good, and he gets his Spidey sense kicks in, and everything kind of just washes away, and it's just a great cinematic way of conveying that feeling out, that feeling of dread, that feeling of
Impending
danger.
doom. Yeah.
Yes, impending doom.
Yeah.
And I felt that same thing with Obi-Wan Kenobi when he walked in and they did the Dutch angle on the camera.
Yep.
And you hear the sound design on that, and you could see he almost felt nauseous from the reaction. It was quite a way to convey that the Force, warning him of a situation.
And that was a carryover from the way they portrayed the reaction when Reva told him that Anakin was still alive. The world melting away, everything kind of, that connection of the eyes kind of at the end where like he knew it in his soul, like, oh my God, that's actually true. And then opening back up on that ship with the muted tones and Leia being like, are you awake? Like, what's going on here? Like, yeah.
Almost like when Luke was in Empire Strikes Back and he was, getting his new prosthetic hand, and he closed his eyes and he was talking to Darth Vader.
Yep.
And he said, "Ben, why didn't you tell me?" And it's because obviously Ben has bad parenting skills.
Horrible parenting.
Since
he took an apprentice.
Did you catch that one where he was making a model Y-wing fighter?
Yeah.
And Uncle Owen threw it in the trash. Like, he doesn't need your dad. Because First of all,
no, he didn't do it in the trash. He gave it back to him.
Oh, that's right. He threw it at him though. I think he threw it on the ground and stepped on it. So it was very, very hateful man, Owen. And not.
I mean, he wasn't wrong though. He
Well,
was
first of
raw
all-
and brutal about it, but he wasn't wrong.
No, yeah, and let's be frank. An old man, just sending kids gifts unwanted. That is a little creepy. So yeah.
And he's right though. Like,
he was
you
a
gonna train
strange
him like
old-
he trained his father. That worked out well. Thanks
Again,
for that.
He's not good at his job.
And going back to this whole thing, we're using the truth to make a lie more, digestible.
Mhm.
When he was asked if he knew where the Jedi was, and he says basically says that if he something like if he knew where it was, he'd kill him or something. He basically looked at Ben, or he was looking at Ben and basically saying, basically it's telling
I can't stand the Jedi.
hatred. His hatred towards the Jedi. That was,
Yeah. Now there were a whole bunch of those little, I'm saying what I really mean
Yeah.
under the guise of law.
But also you appreciate his complete, and I sound like a whatever for saying this, but Owen's complete character motivation, if you will, because he knows Luke is Force sensitive. He knows who his parents are. He knows how that is. So as much as he'll hate the Jedi, he'll also never betray them or give anything in, because that comes for Luke. So you understand the dichotomy and the conflict within that character and why he makes the choices he makes and how he can say and how he comes at the things he does. And you have a complete character in Owen Skywalker.
And also we need to remember that in episode 4, Owen was a jerk then too.
Yep.
Like, I said, drop it.
Yeah, basically saying,
Mhm.
Luke,
He was like, I think he's that old man. Yeah, that's just a crazy old man. You stay away from him. Yeah, but he said he knew my. I said, drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Drop it, boy. So, yeah, no, he was, and again, nobody gives Owen the credit. He, in his entire life, he, angrily tried to keep Luke out of the Jedis, even though he failed miserably and ending up a shish kebab on his front step with Aunt Peru. It's horrible end.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's going back to what you said about Riva, or not, third sister. What's her name again?
Yeah, that is Riva.
Riva. So about her not being stone cold, or but not being as stone cold as the other Inquisitors. But he basically goes up to Owen and says, if no one tells me where the Jedi is, I am going to kill this man and his family. And then the Grand Inquisitor actually told her to stop. Mm-hmm. Was it the Grand Inquisitor, or was it one of the Inquisitors?
I think it was either that or one of the Fifth Brothers. But
yeah,
so that was stone cold right there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my things is I don't get a consistent tone with her, and that's why I was asking if she had like a fully developed storyline that you already know how it ends, because I could see her going one of two ways based on knowing nothing. I could see her either having a redemption arc, or I could see her just spiraling completely out in this effort to be number one, and this what do you call it? I think it's a motivation that will destroy her. This drive she has, this need to be number one, and also they did kind of allude to how the other the Fifth Brothers were treating her as a lesser, and I think she's trying to overcompensate, but for some reason, and again, I don't want to say this because obviously the internet's been dragging her for completely different reasons. I will just say the character, not her as an individual, it seems like the way this character's, being portrayed, it seems like she's in the wrong movie. That's all I'm saying, because I mean, I don't know. I say it because I've been conditioned to the European affect of the Empire. And I'm just not seeing her as being raised in the Empire. It just, tell me this, because again, not knowing the source material, how did she become an Inquisitor? Was she kidnapped as a child, or was she born into it? Where's her source? Where's her origin?
I don't actually know the full backstory of her. The only thing that I remember hearing from them say was that, she was found. So whether she was discarded, whether she was one of the Force-sensitive kids they took and turned, whether she was something else, I don't know. But they just seem to indicate that she was more found than whatever prestigious way they became Inquisitors were.
Okay.
So my thing about this is that if she goes through that redemption arc, as you're pointing out, where
I could see that based on what I'm seeing so far, because she seems way too emotional to be that evil, but she's been doing evil things. She cut off somebody's hand, just matter of factly. So I'm just not. And again,
she's the kind of person where there are no means that are too far to get to her ends.
Because I don't. Well, if she does go through the path of redemption, then it would be a contradiction in itself, because Darth Vader was the first Jedi to go from the dark to the light side. Darth Vader was the first redeemed.
Yeah. I
So,
remember, yeah, when you talking about when he threw the Emperor off the
yes,
console, and
yes.
then
So yeah,
and then
and what do you call this? Before then, it was like once you've gone to the path of the dark side, there's no turning back. That's what they keep pounding to Luke, pounding on
yeah,
Luke.
but let's be frank, Darth Vader did decades of horrific things, and just because he saved his own son's life, I don't want to give him a medal just yet. And
No.
and let's not forget when Luke was trying to drag his 300-pound body onto the plane. Darth Vader said, "Take my mask off," and Luke said, "You'll die." And Darth Vader said, "Well,
Nothing can.
I have a note from my doctor. Don't you tell me what to do." That's a COVID joke. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I and again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm totally misreading this character, and maybe I will find a rhythm for her later on. But it seems like she's somebody who's really angry and not dangerous, you know. But again, maybe this is the new dangerous, where it's kind of
Well, she's angry and reckless, and I think that is very dangerous.
Yeah, I want to see it. Trust me, I want to see it. But I'm not in love with her character. I'm not saying that she's doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just if she feels like she's in a different movie to me, and and I want to be proven wrong. So, bringing Jimmy Smits back.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh.
Yep. He is, I keep thinking of him in LA Law.
Mm.
And let me see who else. There's some other people in here. I'm not too familiar.
Talking about Organa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Senator. Yeah. Well, his name is Senator Bail Organa. Yes.
Bail Organa. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see who's now. Have we already seen Nari? Is the character Nari? Because that's who Benny Safdie is.
Not sure.
And for those that don't know, the Safdie brothers have done some amazing films. They did Good Time with Robert Pattinson. They did Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. Licorice Pizza. So they've done some really, award-winning indie films. Anyway, so that being said, I have thoroughly been enjoying this so far. How many episodes are there?
6.
Oh, so we're at the
I
halfway.
don't think 6 is going to be enough.
Well, that's why I say this is a movie. This is a feature-length film that should have been released as a movie. Like, could you imagine that Darth Vader in that menacing of a thing on the big screen in the dark? Like, the blue lightsaber lighting up the first few rows of the theater, feeling the same, like, holy crap fear, I'm actually scared of Darth Vader that Obi-Wan was feeling at that time. Like, I would like to see a movie cut of this series released in theaters. Like, that would be worth it to go see.
Absolutely. And what talk about again, Hayden Christensen he's never going to be loved. Him dragging Obi-Wan through the fire.
Oh.
That was
and then watching him get saved, just going, that's fine. I'm going to get you again. I'm going to get you again.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get you again. Like, that level of just torture was,
He's like, I'm going to keep coming until I'm stepping on your empty robe.
Mm-hmm. Literally, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah. The thing about it is, though, he's always in the Darth Vader mask using James Earl Jones's voice. It's like, is there going to be any instance where we're going to actually see him as in, like, out of his?
That's a good question. I'm assuming so. Because why would you bother even having Hayden Christensen if you're not going to see his face, and if you're going to see his face, you might as well hear him without the voice modulator. You know.
Well, you see him in the apparition when they were on the planet, and they kind of Obi-Wan like saw him kind of in the distance.
That was
Well, that was, but
far
he was
away.
still. But he was still.
But it was an
covered in,
indication that there's another form of communication that could take place.
True.
You know, you've got that whole psychological kind of, you know, in your head conversation you can have with the character, and that's a place where you can certainly put that.
It was kind of a ghost moment, you know.
Yes.
I appreciated that.
You've got the still prosthetic laden, but clearly still force communicative in the back to tanks or whatever it was before they kind of like Iron Man his Darth Vader suit on, which was a really cool scene. I enjoyed that. See all the different parts and everything put on, how they did that. So I think there's room for it too, but honestly at this point, even if there's not, and it's just allowing, well, really both of them, you know, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to get that redemption trip, you know, whether it's to the media or to conventions or to stuff, to be able to have them out there as actors feel the appreciation and renaissance that their characters are going through, and the movies that they were in, you know, are kind of experiencing with some of this. I think it's almost more important for the people, the actors as the people, to get that and experience that than it is for us to see Hayden Christensen sans prosthetics on screen. You know, I've seen some clips where they, I think it was Star Wars Celebrations or one of those, and they were doing an interview with both Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, and they asked at the end, you know, is there anything else you want to say? And Hayden just kind of looked over at Ewan McGregor and kind of smiled and like winked, and he just said, "This is where the fun begins," calling back to his line from the series. And like, you just heard the whole place erupt in just like, you know, oh crap, he just said that, like, you know, like, oh, it's going to be amazing. And just to see their reactions, to have an audience react to them that way after some of the critical panning and the audience hate and stuff that they kind of went through after putting a lot, you know, they're acting hearts and souls into those roles and to complete that story. I think that more than anything else is probably worth it for them.
I completely get that. I want to give you two. First of all, it seems like this past several years has been the comeback tours on a lot of movies. I mean, Spider-Man, No Way Home. I mean, to your point about having to brush off the animosity of the internet.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Where people, for some reason, you know, he didn't even get the third Spider-Man. He just got the 1 and 2, and then it kind of fell apart.
Well, we don't know.
Well, no, but I'm saying that's the thing, is because of the last film he was in, he garnered the goodwill of the audience. And people underestimate that power of nostalgia and just this comeback and you know the journey of, I remember 12 years ago I saw Andrew Garfield, and now he's back, and you know he still fits in the outfit. You know,
he still fits in the outfit. He gets to make up for some of the things that happened in the previous one, like, you know, seeing some of those scenes, just like, even just as clips, not knowing like the whole movie that I've seen, like that's heart-wrenching from a character perspective, let alone the audience reactions I've heard from some of those. Like,
exactly. I mean, people love to, I mean, just remember when Harrison Ford came back.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody was like, what?
Seeing him on screen in The Force Awakens. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I wish he'd stop doing the Indiana Jones, because that's just getting ridiculous. But
he hasn't been able to successfully pass it off yet. So I appreciate that there's been a money truck enough to keep him doing this. But, you know, unfortunately, Shia LaBeouf didn't take it.
No.
That didn't work out.
I didn't see him as a good replacement anyway.
No.
Either way, it didn't work out.
First of all, and again, I've heard controversy about Shia LaBeouf, and I'll tell you this: he has done some quality work.
Oh yeah,
so I'll say that about pretty much any of these horrible people that are out there, and that goes across the board. Where I hate their personal life, but their skill is unquestionable. Mm-hmm. The other one that I just saw, and I'm sorry I'm out there. We have not been coming together through just scheduling conflicts and things like that, but we will make it up to you. We'll start doing more and more reviews. One of the movies I just saw recently was Top Gun with Tom Cruise, and Val Kilmer came back.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
he was there. Oh, okay.
When you see the audience, and again, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a Spider-Man type of reaction.
Yeah.
But when you see Val Kilmer, the audience definitely was into it. Just that whole. And again, this is
He's
not
been through a lot.
Absolutely, and he looked good. He looked good, and
good.
And one of the things they did, I looked this up, not to go off on a Top Gun tangent, but his son did the voice.
Oh.
But here's the thing. I want to make sure, because I heard two different things. I heard that they did kind of the same thing they did with Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, where they had like a synthesized voice compiled of old dialogue that Val Kilmer did. But
the weird AI.
Yeah, the AI that has no cadence or inflection. But I know that Val Kilmer's son was involved, and that's what I'm trying to remember. I think they said that he did some. I know what it is. There's, and this is not a spoiler, but there is a scene where he. I swear it's where he talks, and his voice is really gruff, so it was not a sampling of Val Kilmer's early voice. It couldn't have been, because it was like really gruff, because he was had a condition. So I think that was his son that did his voice. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet. I know you like to. So, but anyway, so 3 more episodes. I mean, we're definitely gonna, because we've seen Obi-Wan rise to the challenge, like when Leia was falling, he was able to just catch her,
barely, yeah.
Almost threw his back out, and he's trying to fight with the lightsaber, but honestly, even though Darth Vader said, "Oh, come on, is that it? Is that what you're coming with?" It was like, why am I even here?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, into the fire with you. But it's good.
The good thing about this all too is that they're gonna have, I like the way they're developing the whole devastation that the Empire has caused throughout the universe. I mean, Star Wars. I mean, the first 3 Star Wars. I'm not the first 3, but Episode 4, 5, and 6. We know that the Empire's there. We know that they're all over the world. All over the galaxy, and their presence are there, but you haven't really felt their presence. They're when Obi-Wan was riding with Leia, and he was saying this all used to be a great
fields,
field, and stuff. But now, I mean, they're actually giving more depth to the impact that the Empire. It's not. I felt like the first, the first Episode 4, 5, and 6. I keep calling them the first. I felt that the Empire is there. They're bad and stuff like that, but you don't really see. You see this, and you don't really see it from the level of someone living under the Empire's rule. So
and that's where limitless stories are, because that's the Mandalorian. It's all ground level. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, they shoot in Skywalker at the end because but you can have millions of different stories that have the Empire in the peripheral. It's under the regime, but it's like if you're in occupied France during World War II, you don't have to have you don't have to fight the Nazis. You can basically be dealing with the situation, still living a life, but just in this horrible oppression. So, yeah, they again, they keep going to the West motif, like everything's kind of a Western, but I'd like to see more like city stuff, almost
like episode 2.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that was the city. But you know what I'd like to see, Logan? I'd like to see a noir, kind of like a Blade Runner in the Star Wars universe.
Well, it's kind of, I can, it's dirty. At least it's dirtier and grittier now than it was with the, with the previous.
Oh, with the prequels, or
with the prequels, and even the
prequels. That was such. I always go back to Jeff Goldblum, where he says, they were so concerned if they could, they never thought if they should, because they made these huge CG renderings, and it just looks like a video game. Everything just looks so clean and fake. But
even with the original Star Wars, I mean the definitely the stormtroopers were a lot cleaner there than they were here in
really
Kenobi. Yeah, you have dirt and grime and stuff like that all over the.
There was a variation to it that I thought added realism.
Well, I'll say this: the stormtroopers on Tatooine, especially the ones that were like the what are the lizards, panthers? But the big iguanas they rode.
Yeah.
No, the panthers is the one with that's
the Tusken Raider ones.
The Tusken Raider ones. Yeah.
The ones that were going door to door, looking for the droids, they looked pretty, road weary. But I guess it depends on how rough you've had it and if you're close to a base. Because those stormtroopers. First of all, I would not be wearing that outfit out in the middle of a desert. Just because Finn knew it. He started taking his stuff off as soon as he hit the desert. He was like, "This is hot." I mean, unless they got a fan in there, that's horrible. That's horrible attire. But anyway, I think this is going to be a great series. I am very curious to see how Reva develops as a character.
Oh yeah.
And I want to see Obi-Wan do that redemption and embrace the Force in some climactic moment where he has to and he will either he'll evade Vader or he'll give Vader a good thrashing and then get out of there. Episode 4.
Yeah, he has to become the master again.
Yeah. He has to reclaim his
title.
Yeah. Because what is it? It's been like 10 years since he's.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. So he'll get it back. It's like riding a bike. But, it's like balance. It's like
then there will not be any contradiction with what Vader's told about the last time we met. You're a student, not a master. So he needs to school Vader one more time.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and maybe he'll even throw this. He'll throw in a Bruce Leroy quote. Who's the master? Make Darth Vader like, you're the master. And then that'll fit. Yes, and Leia has to get her memory wiped or something like that.
Yeah, she'll get it force wiped or whatever.
Force wiped.
That's Bruce Leroy, not Bruce Lee.
Bruce, yeah, exactly. You'll remember none of this. And all right, no, good stuff. Yeah. I'm glad we're back in the saddle, doing shows again. Everybody out there, thank you so much for continuing to watch us. We have been away, but we're back, bigger, stronger, better than ever. We're going to be doing more shows. We have more short form content that's going to be coming your way. If you want, you can purchase some of our lovely apparel. We have mugs, t-shirts, hats. We're getting a whole new line of shoes, sneakers, Binge Theory sneakers, so you can binge while you walk. It's all the rage now. And be sure and check in, on our social platforms, because we're going to list future shows that are coming up. Be sure to take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and as always, If it's worthwhile, it's worth binging.